abandon a life of peace to join me on a death march.
Congrats on joining the Witcher universe, especially as such a beloved character. Regis is one of the most popular characters from the books. When you were doing your research and getting into this psyche of this character, what were some of the most important elements of Regis from the books that you wanted to bring to life on the screen?
Well, I think for me, the most significant thing was the thing that I talked with Lauren about, which was the relationship between Regis and Geralt, and that it would be different from any other relationship that he's had in the series, and that Regis is a person that suddenly Geralt feels comfortable confiding in, somebody who's, you know, had to live a life that's not dissimilar from Geralt's life, in that he's an outsider in a way that Regis is an outsider in the way that Geralt has been, but he's been an outsider much longer. So he understands that path and that life that Geralt is living. So it was really about exploring that idea and those dynamics more so than it was trying to interpret anything from either the books or the video games, because you know, they've made some departures from the books and the video games and bringing it to the screen.
I feel like you kind of already answered part of my next question with that response, but I'll ask it anyways. He seems, Regis that is, seems like he wants to join Geralt in this season. What aspects of Geralt do you think make him want to hitch his wagon to him?
I think it's the sense of freedom that Regis kind of has read on Geralt and the Hansa. These are all people who had previous lives before they came together, and they're sort of off on this adventure where they're not exactly sure where it's going to lead to, but they're invested enough in Geralt to want to follow him, to want to protect him, to want to be his family. And I think that's kind of what it is.
Yeah, it's a fascinating dynamic that I'm thrilled to get to explore as I finish this season. I've seen the first 4 episodes, and I know the back half's going to be intense. My final question for you, I don't really have a segue for this. I want to share this with you because I heard what you said at New York Comic Con this past weekend.
Sure.
I was born on July 14th, 2000. That was the very day that the first X-Men movie came out. So
my son's birthday, not 2000, but July 14th.
That is so funny. And well, this is such like poetry to ask this question. Obviously, Sir Patrick Stewart has played Professor X since that day. Me as an existing human being, I am alive as long as he has played Professor X on the big screen. He's continuing the role next December at Avengers Doomsday.
Oh, that's great.
You've put on your mark that this is a role that you'd like to tackle.
Of course.
Being said, are you prepared to spend possibly the next 2 decades of your career in the wheelchair?
You know, it doesn't really matter, does it? It doesn't really matter. If Patrick is continuing, it really doesn't matter.
I think Doomsday will be his swan song because they are rebooting the X-Men. Jake Schreier.
Again, should they reboot it, then, you know, I would love to be considered. But other than that, I don't know what else to say.
What about a part like that excites you at this stage in your career?
Well, I am what I like to describe as a true believer when it comes to all things Marvel comics and the MCU. So, you know, there were a lot of other parts that I would have loved to have played when I was a younger man. But at the age that I am at now, I feel that Professor X is probably the most appropriate thing for me to do if I were lucky enough to be cast in another Marvel picture.
We spoke at the amateur junket, and you left me with a really good quote about how within silence you find wisdom. And Professor X is the smartest mind in Marvel Comics. And if that's a role that you would take on, I think you've already synergetically linked minds with him. So hopefully we get to see that down the line. But in the meantime, congrats on season 4.
Thank you so much, man.
The Witcher is in a state of flux. You are becoming something new.